Actually, Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Thanks a lot for joining. My name is Irfan Ahmed, and our esteemed speaker for this session is Dr. Mujahid Sultan, a computer scientist and a proud alumnus of 88 Civil. Dr. Sultan holds a PhD in computer science from the Ryerson University and is a visionary founder of MLSsoft.ai, a startup at the cutting edge of AI research and development. His profound expertise and insights into this transformative power of AI and GPT technology promise to make this session an enlightening experience. Welcome to today's webinar on the transformative power of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. We are living in a remarkable era where the technological advancements are reshaping the world as we know it. Today, we gather to explore the immense importance of these technology and how they have the potential to revolutionize our lives. AI, a field that once seemed like science fiction, has now become an integral part of our daily lives. It encompasses a range of techniques that enables machines to mimic human intelligence, learn from vast amount of data, and make autonomous decisions. This capacity to analyze, understand, and respond to the complex information has the potential to transform every industry from healthcare, finance, education, and transportation. Without further ado, let's embark on this transformative exploration and unravel the boundless possibilities that lie ahead of us. Welcome to the webinar on AI and ChatGPT, shaping the future. And now I request Dr. Sultan to take over from here.
Thank you very much, Irfan Bhai, and thank you very much, everybody, for joining. It's my pleasure to talk about it. I am, though not expert in, large language models, but I've been around machine learning and artificial intelligence for the last about 20 years. When there was no deep learning when we were in university. And we have seen, it's a progression, how the whole field machine learning evolved over the last 20 years. And I will draw from those experiences. And today's agenda is basically this: to answer a few questions, and those are the burning questions people have. The very first question they have: how does they work? How the heck they work? What is under the hood? When they work, sometimes they don't work, and people have done a lot of work, where they have shown, that it brings the bias, it gives the wrong information. So we will wrap our head around why it gives the wrong information. But before we do that, there will be, if anybody has not used it, we will talk about its power, what it can do. And then, we will look at few use cases, from IT standpoint or engineering standpoint. And that will be first 10, 15 minutes, we will see what it can do. So then we will look into, what are the buzzwords people are using: generative AI, or people are saying transformers, or people are, large language, what actually it is, and it looks like it's a rocket science, but it's not. It's a very simple idea, which evolved over the years. A very, very simple idea. The moment we, look at what is under the hood, then we know, okay, this is how it should work, right? And then by looking at that, then, it's very intuitive to know that, why they don't work, or what not to expect from these, right, language models. So that is the agenda in a nutshell. So first 10, 15 minutes, we will talk about its use cases. One or two are my own company's use cases, and it's free. People can use that. Not as a marketing I'm doing, but that is the use case, basically, show what their capability is. Then I will go on the drawing board, because we are all engineers. We are very good at maths. We need to understand what is happening mathematically around under the hood. Keeping again, at 80,000 feet, not even 30,000 feet, very, very, very high level. But we will look at the building blocks, how we got where we are, what they actually do, right? What are these buzzwords around it, right? people say prompt engineering, I don't know. So there are so much going on around. So after looking at this, we will have some idea, if not the good idea, what all those buzzwords are, what people are trying to do with it, how should we use it, and what we should not expect. So that drawing board I will draw on my screen. I'll share my screen. That will be about 30 to 40 minutes of that kind of presentation. So you can stop me if you have a burning question, but in that 30-40 minutes, I will like to just listen to me, and then at the end we will open up for QA. We intend to have QA for about an hour, depending on what the interest is in the group. Right? So that is the format. So from now on, an hour 40 minutes, we'll be wrapping up. And if we want to take a break, probably, after, I am done with, that mathematical modeling of it, we can take a little break before we start QA. Sounds okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, so let's start with some of the use cases. And I think everybody knows, anybody who doesn't know ChatGPT, I think everybody knows ChatGPT. That's good. So who are the power users of ChatGPT? I would say about 60-70% people use on a regular basis.
Yeah, I tried to use it and it's quite fascinating actually.
Right.
I'm also using ChatGPT as well.
Right.
Liaqat yeah.
So myself, myself is also familiar with it, but I have tried with my daughter once and try to use it now.
Right. So it can do a lot of wonderful things. For example, for engineers in the room, it can basically do all the design for us. It can even do architectural work. If I ask ChatGPT to generate me, I have a plot size and I want to make a map of it, I ask him to, draw me 3 bedrooms, 3 washrooms and a kitchen, and I can basically communicate, and by the end of it, it will give me markup, and that markup can draw the whole drawing. I don't have to lift a pen to draw it, right? And people who are in IT, if not, not directly, but there will be some people who are indirectly involved in IT. In IT, that's what I do actually. Before we do coding, we do a lot of system design work. I mean, thinking, what system should do. We start generally from a very high level idea, then we write use cases, and then we draw some diagrams. And by the end of it, we have a, 100, 200 page document to start the system. And that traditionally takes KPMG, Deloitte, and all these big companies, 3-4 consultants for 6 months, to come up with that document. So now we can automate the whole document with one click of a button. And that is what one of the product I have. And I would like to showcase one drawing which it does. So you ask a natural language question, it understands and it draws it for you. You don't have to go on Visio or Lucid Chart or Draw.io or any other drawing with. Everything these days is subscription based, so you have to pay $9 on everything to get simple things done online, right? And if you're collaborating, it is even more expensive. So we give you at one place, you tell what you want to do, and it does all the system design work for you, just like, we will have a civil design work, So let me share my screen, and that's one of the use case, and then I'll show 2 more use cases so that, we can understand what they are capable of doing. Okay, screen. I'll share my screen.
I think you are a co-host, so you can do that.
Yeah, no, I found it. So you guys can see my screen?
Not yet.
Also, one suggestion, please, if you can ask the participants to mute again, once again, so that we can focus.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me mute myself.
Okay, I think you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yes. I have a tool here where you can, let's say, and it's free. You can, you can join in with the. You can join in with any, let's say, Gmail or any GitHub or any other account you already have. I will log in with my existing, and it's free for a long time.
Hello.
So if if I just enter some simple system design, for example, let me see what I want to do. I want to build a car rental system, right? Everybody understands rental system, right? So I just now on the back of it is ChatGPT. So I just said, design a car rental system for me. Let me make it big because it's not legible on the other side, probably. Now I think people can see it better. Let me do this. Let me make it a little bigger. So this description came from ChatGPT. It says car rental system is a software system that allows users to rent cars from a rental company. The system may include website, mobile applications. Software allows customers to search for and book for the cars and blah, blah, blah. Need not to go in the details. So it told me, it became a business expert in car rental. If you ask him to design you a system for, let's say, high-rise buildings, it will act as an expert in that area, and it will give you a very nice description of that system. Not only that, I will pick some, easy things. Now, if a business expert knows what that business is, how the car rental business should work, then he knows how to design a database, for example. So he will analyze that business and come up with the entities, which would be required to put in a database. So what ChatGPT did is, it automatically designed that database for me. And if I make it a little smaller. So this database design and, these relationships in technical terms are very important. If you do not know the business very well, you cannot model this. And you have to be senior guy to model this. Here, ChatGPT did all for us, for it. And here is the markup language for that. I can edit that markup language and it will update the diagram. So essentially what it's saying, customer makes a rental, rental hires a car, car has car options, and car option provides extras, and rental has a payment, is used for payment. So this is one of the things. Other is, for example, now we all understand project management. So if I say, okay, I'm building this system, can you make me a high-level project plan for that? What will be the activities now from IT perspective, right? So not legible here. There is a feedback. So if you can mute other people, that'd be great.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So this Gantt chart was not that legible. Let me redraw it. Okay, now this was more better. Let me make it bigger. So you can say, in this particular domain, which is IT, if you are a novel project manager, you will not know what different phases should look like. So it has told you, it has a research, design, development, testing, and deployment. And it just tentatively put some dates, which you basically, go to the markup. It generated markup for us, and you can go and change the markup and the dates, and the diagram will change. So what it is doing essentially is acting like an expert in everything you are asking. So first it became an expert in a car rental industry and made you a very nice data model. Then it became a project manager for you, and it knows, what phases generally are. and how they overlap and when they should be done. So it made you a high-level Gantt chart, which you can edit, and so on and so forth. There are a lot of things you can do: sequence models, deployment diagrams, and whatnot, right? So this is one of the use case. Now, the other use case is, general, we want to go on social media and, want to post a condolence message. My friend's mom passed away. I will always shy away writing something. Maybe I will write wrong or good. So I can now go to ChatGPT-3, explain it, and it will write very good message for me. That's a general usage which people are doing on a daily basis. Another usage is, if you ask the question, for example, if you can see my screen, I have a friend who is running, he's himself a medical doctor. He was, 7th or 8th in all Pakistan and CSS, very, very learned man. So he asked me, can you help me? Now he's, running a, Islamic center in Pakistan. So, so I wrote for him, write me a Jummah sermon on the topic of Usher in Sunni Islam, include Arabic and English translations. So it started with Arabic, it, translated into English. And then we asked him elaborate the hadith from Sheikh Sahih Bukhari, the importance of Usher. So it went into Sahih Bukhari. And with all those references, it brought me everything which I need for that sermon. So that is another use case. It understands, it has read almost every book, and it understands my question and gets me the right answer. Now, the last use case that is for, IT folk. How many people here are in IT in some form? Few, okay, raise of hands.
Yes.
Okay, bunch of people are in IT. So in IT, generally what we do is, what I have opened up is my command line. So I've been writing some code on Unix prompt. I was moving files around. I was, probably deploying something or whatever. This is one of the use cases. And now this is for, let's say, the deployment. You are deploying some services, and there are generally 200 to 300 commands or more than that, which you generally experts, the DevOps or SRE engineers, they're expert in that area. They type like 500 words per minute. They're expert in their area. They know what they're doing. Very complex systems they deploy. They put some load balancers on it. They put some Tecton or you name it. They are very, very expert in their area. But what happens is when they are issuing that many commands, they can do some small mistake, which to troubleshoot that becomes terribly difficult. So what ChatGPT-3 can do is can become your elder brother or your big boss and look at your shoulder what you're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say ask GPT. This is a small small code which I wrote myself. What it's going to do is it went on my history, right? And it is connected to my that terminal which I was on. And over there, I can ask him question. I can ask him, okay, what I did wrong. So it's going to go on my history of, let's say, I have said only go to about 330, commands in history. But it can go on to my history for days, which is, 2,000-3,000 commands, and analyze them and tell me what exactly I did wrong. So I just entered that. So it basically, these are condensed the history commands I was issuing. And it is saying, let me make it a little bigger for people to read. It's saying, it looks like you are trying to create an alias for running ChatGPT command, but you are missing some syntax. The correct syntax for creating alias is this. So alias is a Unix, command which system people know very well. So it found that in my history, and it also corrected that. And not only that, if I was on, I heard, my Teams was buzzing. So actually what we did was, and a lot of now industries doing it, authentication, they don't want to create any other thing. In my Teams channel, I think I have created a channel where it sent that root cause, which we just did, what I did wrong. So it, told me this was my history. This just came 11/27. So it posted that on Teams as well for rest of the, team, whosoever is part of that channel, they can have a look at it, right? So it became collaboration. It becomes very, 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 very easy. Now I don't have to go and look and, that 1,000 commands I have issued, what was wrong there. I can just simply ask what was wrong. Or even, sometimes it surprises you the way it analyzes, your history and tells you what you should be doing right. So that's the third use case, right? I'll stop here. So these are some of the use cases. And as I was saying, for civil engineering, you can draw you can do the civil engineering calculations. You can draw the architectural drawings, as I was showing the drawings on system side. And there are a lot of other use cases. And I would like to now let's spend 5-10 minutes from hearing from participants how they use, what is the interesting use case they have came along with.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Mujahid Saab.
Ji, walaikum salam.
Thank you very much for conducting such a valuable session, first of all. I have recently started using ChatGPT. I work for the city of Toronto and as a senior system integrator, and I've seen that it's a marvelous tool.
Right.
Not only that, I have used it for things like making a resume for me. It builds amazing resumes. If you give them the command, the ChatGPT, and I've only been using ChatGPT. I know that there are a couple of other tools that are in the market, and I would be curious to know from you on how the customized tool that you have used, because it actually drew the diagram as well that I haven't seen anywhere on ChatGPT. Maybe I haven't tried it, but just to answer the question, just like telling it to write you a resume for solution architect, it will write you a brilliant resume. It will if you instruct him to write, for example, add say Amazon technologies, AWS technologies to be mentioned in the resume, it will do so. Then once you have your resume, you can customize it to fulfill your needs, and then you can also ask him to give me interview questions from this resume, and it will actually direct you to the interview questions so that you can go through those interview questions, prepare yourself. That's one thing. The other thing that I have used it so far is at workplace, there are some complicated DB queries that I had been trying to write, and I myself, I'm not a DBA, but it just so happens that I'm the one who is stuck with writing those. So though it actually worked very well, but I've seen that at times it actually got choked because if the query is very complicated, so for example, there are nested queries that inner query has to provide result set to the outer query and so on and so forth, it actually got choked and it doesn't understand. It actually gave me a bogus answer saying that these are the tables that you have mentioned and these are its column names, and I don't know what to do. Actually, you have only listed the tables. What do you want me to do? And multiple times I told it to, this is the foreign key, this is the primary key, these are the tables that needs to be joined, and this is the results that I'm looking for. But it actually choked and it never went any further. So that's the only limitation I've seen. But other than that, it's very impressive.
Yeah, it's what diagram I came across this image. There's 2 + 2, ChatGPT saying 5, and we will talk about that. Why ChatGPT does that stupid things when it is that smart. And on the coding side, we will, definitely, your this concern will be answered to some extent when we go to this presentation.
My name is Burhan. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear. Yes.
Yeah. So my name is Burhan, and actually, I'm also the past graduate, and I started using ChatGPT for trading purposes. So For example, I did some courses and certifications in algo trading. And the biggest challenge that I had in algo trading is there are some complex codings like GATs and all those models. So usually I depend on Python and there are some of the logic and some of the strategies I was not able to implement it because then I have to get into more into the Python and more. So then I started using ChatGPT. So nowadays I'm using basic strategies, but then ChatGPT, if you can just instruct them that if this is your strategy, if you have RSI this and this, the 5-7 lines, you just put it into ChatGPT, it actually create a code for you. And it can be in a trading view language, or it can be in any script. And then you just choose in that code, and then it give you all the signals and everything. So this is one of the fascinating things that I'm using it. However, my question, so that is the use case. But more interestingly, I try to understand is we know somehow a little bit about the deep learning and all this thing. So what the question that I have is, what is the logic behind the ChatGPT? How it come to that conclusion? It is still using the decision trees, or is it still is a part of the deep learning? Those are the things that I'm more interested in.
That is exactly we will talk about. It will be very relevant to yourself, but people might think it's a little bit too detailed for them. But trust me, that is going to help everybody going forward. So we will get into those details you just mentioned. That why the heck it works. What are the pieces of technologies which we glued together to make ChatGPT, right? And
so basically the deep learning things, and this we can easily find out, and then we know that these are the 5 4 algos, and then we use features and we remove the biases and all these things. But generative AI still is a missing pieces.
Yeah, so that is a good leeway. Actually, we will start with that. The question you just asked, that you understand or know deep learning. Let's start with that. Let me abstract deep learning to one level above for general people, and then we will drill down a little bit. So
thank you very much.
Just for a sec, this is Liaquat. So I would also appreciate that if you will also include, of course, the usage is always good, but because I work in cybersecurity area, so I would like you to please add as well stuff with respect to that how we should be careful in using ChatGPT, any of like AI learning, putting our data, because whatever we will add into AI technology, so that is going to be saved and can be used by anyone else. So please highlight that, how we should be careful on that one. Thank you.
Correct. I will definitely. So, when you go to Google and you type anything, it was Google who, first of all, who started thesaurus building. On the fine print, when you type, your search question, and then, it recommends you something, based on what other people have searched. So when you correct it, that is their own property. They keep that thesaurus with them. And now they own the thesaurus, which you basically built. The same is the case with most of the system. When we go and use them in the fine print, there is, how you're using it, or your customer behavior, that we basically own it. So ChatGPT does take the prompt from people, and we will talk about, and if I may take a few notes of these things, we have to talk. There was a lot of noise out there that people are, sitting there and training ChatGPT, $15 guys in the US, and they have hired, tons and tons of people, basically, who are classifying the text, right? And they are also accounting what people have done, right? So they take your prompt and use that, and some human looks into it. So yeah, we will talk. I will bring that in the discussion too. Let me take a note of it.
Thank you.
Any other question? Experience?
Yeah, I'm obviously you guys are using it from technical side, and I'm like just an ordinary consumer, so I'm just like fascinated with all these things. So I recently found some plugins, and one of those is that you just put any YouTube video link in there, and let's say it's 3 hours sort of video, so it will just scan the whole video maybe in 5 to 10 minutes, and you just write, just summarize the main points of the whole video, and it will give you in the text form. So that is sort of a pretty cool feature that I discovered with one of the plugins. I think it's Vox Script or something that's called.
Yeah. Other thing what we do, and a lot of people do, is DALI, or there are a few other commercial systems where you describe something and it generates a very nice image for you, right?
Yeah, I use Jasper for that, and it's do some amazing thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I just go to the Rekta, get some Faz poetry, then just go to Chat GPT, ask it to translate in English, and then go to Jasper and ask it to paint.
Paint. That's an interesting topic. Let me touch on that. So, image generation. Okay. So, you describe it, and it reads whatever you're saying, and it draws beautiful images. How can it do it?
It is.
Right? It looks like, and all that leads to, does it has brain? Does it understand what I'm saying? Does it have feelings, emotions? Right? So that's the bigger question. So keep that in mind. If I forget it, please ask me. At the end of this, discussion, we should.
Oh, I have my list of questions, so don't worry. I have this over there as well.
Yeah, this should be the top of it.
Yeah. Okay.
It has a conscience or not?
Right. Yeah. It is important that it's a sentinel being.
Does it apply its own brain and its own mind when it's answering my question or not? We should have a very good understanding of that one particular question, and that will change alter our view forever of this technology.
Right.
Okay. All right. If nothing else, I need another.
Sorry. I have a question. Maybe at the end of the session, if you can just highlight about why the top scientists in the world, they are worried about the super intelligence, most important by the Nick Bostrom and the Harari, and all those are when they're talking about the things, right? So, and I've gone through a couple of books, right? And I almost watched more than 100 podcasts. Right. So I need to understand that what exactly worried them, right? And why Jeffrey Hinton is so vocal about it.
Yeah, Jeffrey Hinton, I took a course, when I was actually doing my PhD at University of Toronto. Then due to some, back in 2006, then some circumstances, I left it. I took a course with Jeffrey Hinton at that time. And there were Dr. Shamim knows, Sam Rovies, he was another guy, Richard Zamel. These were the AI or ML pioneers. Sam passed away. But Sam was the one who was way advanced, and I took 3 courses with Sam. These were the kind of a think tanks who brought the technology where it is today, and their concerns are 100% right. I'm not expert in that, but we will see what we will learn in today's seminar, how that can basically support Jeffrey's argument.
Thank you.
So, Mujahid, I think you can just start like how the basic question that earlier was asked, that how actually it works.
Yeah. No, we will start as brought it up. Deep learning, we will start from the deep learning. I'll abstract deep learning out for general usage, 5-10 minutes. And then from there, we will drive how these language models do work. Right. But it's about 40 minutes. Should we give people 2-3 minutes break for a cup of water or bio break before we start? Because next 30-40 minutes, then we will be engaged.
Sure. So we can take 2-3 minutes break.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a question.
In the meantime, we can start discussing these things.
If you have a question for me, I can answer. Otherwise, I was.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Babar Khurshid, and I just want to know, or if you can throw some light regarding website development with a connection with the database and SEO, of course. So can it help in
Yeah,
this one as
I
well?
do it all the time. Just yesterday, I have a team of developers, and I create a boilerplate code for them. Just yesterday, I went on ChatGPT. Now they gave me access to ChatGPT 4, and I asked them to write me a model and view for Django. I copy pasted as is, did some tweaks. It became a boilerplate code for developers to drill down and write perfect the views. So it does that. You should use it. You must use it, and that is the biggest advantage it has.
So thank you very much. If you can please add this topic too in your discussion, so it will be very helpful for me and
Well,
also
that
people.
we will not do that will be very specialized, and people will get bored. We can have it offline.
Okay. No problem.
Today's agenda is what is under the hood, why it does work, and why it will not work or it doesn't work. Like 2
Okay,
plus
thank
2
you.
shouldn't
No
be
problem.
5, right?
I think there are some plugins as well that can suggest you what kind of, for search engine optimization, like they can suggest you the words and stuff.
There are
So
tons
yeah,
out there. Tons
yeah,
out there.
you can put an article and ask them like what words should I put it, and so that it can comes better in organic ranking and all that. So yeah, there are some, I think, plugins in
I'll be
chat.
back in. I'll be back.
Yeah, please go ahead. It's an amazing thing, actually. I was just discussing it with Mujahid Sultan Saab the other day. Basically, whatever like the human beings have created over the years, basically it's in the form of language, basically. And now what this chat GPT has done, it has a sort of, exposure to all that knowledge or wisdom or information that's been accumulated over the centuries. And basically it's all in one place, and basically when you just ask any query, so it just has access to that huge amount of data, and it can come up with something that it drills down from there.
All right. So I think we should start.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So let me share my screen, and I'll shut down my to save bandwidth. I will shut down my camera, and now I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to draw.